Hey, what's going on? Justin here from Modern Mixing, back with another little tutorial. And yeah, it's been a little while, but I've been working on the site a little bit, getting some more articles up there. So if you haven't been there in a while, just head over there, modernmixing.com. But yeah, today I wanted to talk about background vocals. I've gotten a bunch of emails or messages on Facebook and stuff, and people have been wanting me to cover this a little bit more. And I guess the reason why I haven't covered it is because honestly, I don't really think about the background vocals anymore. It's like, I wouldn't say it's second nature, but I just don't stress about them. But when I thought about it for a while after getting a couple of these messages, I thought, you know what? This is one of those things that I think in the beginning stages of learning how to mix, they are kind of frustrating, especially when you get a lot of stacks, because you're not really sure what to do. It's like, okay, you got 20 background vocals, but where do I pan them? And this one's lower in the octave, and this one's higher in the octave, and how am I supposed to make those blend together? There's two common things that I would normally do on every vocal stack, and it doesn't really change from mix to mix. The first thing is the panning. So the panning, it's always, I'd say, maybe not always, but like 99% of the time, it's hard left and hard right. And then the other thing I do is with compression. I tend to compress the background vocals fairly hard, take out a lot of those initial transients, and then that way, things like the lead vocal can stand out a little bit more, because those lead vocals, I want them to carry all the dynamics in the track, and the background vocals are really just there for support. So there is a couple of other things that I kind of add in from time to time, like a flanger. I might add a flanger to kind of make the vocals a little bit swirly, and that kind of puts them around the lead vocals a bit. Reverbs, delays, things like that, that just kind of makes the background vocals a little bit more ambient, and then that sort of tends to push them back a little bit. But so yeah, I'll show you what I do with these vocals anyways. I'll play this and then see if you can kind of catch the vocals. In this particular track, these background vocals weren't really meant to be loud or too in your face. So I'll play them and then I'll solo them after, and you can really hear what's going on.
I know a place above, I wanna take you up so you can taste the new air. So take my hand, don't be scared, give me your heart.
So yeah, so that's what the background vocals sound with the track. So now what I'll do is I'll solo them so that you can hear them a little bit better, because I know that they were tucked and they were kind of hard to hear, and that was sort of the point, right? So let's check it out and let's see what it sounds like.
I know a place above, I wanna take you up so you can taste the new air. Hey, don't be scared, your heart care.
All right, so now we can get into sort of what I did with them. The first thing I did was on each individual insert for each track, I put this sats in here, and this was more for the gain staging aspect of it, because they were pretty low when I got them. They were really low in volume. I did leave the harmonics on, so I am getting some harmonics from this thing, and I guess it adds a little bit of texture to it, and just gives it a unique characteristic. I did that for all of them. And then coming into the bus for the harmonies, used the sats and channel. The sats and bus, I should say, and I have the fat mode engaged, and this just adds a little bit more harmonics to it. And then this was just because I felt like engaging that fat button sort of fused the vocals together a little bit. Next was the channel strip. This was the EQ, rolling off a lot around 120, and then also dipping out with the shelf filter around 464, I believe that is. And again, there's just a lot of junk in that region, so I'm cutting off the extreme lows, taking out a little bit of low junk, and then other instruments like the drums and the lead vocals can sort of dominate this space, and then this sort of tucks it behind those other instruments. Then I use the Bomb Factory 1176, and I'm compressing it fairly hard. I actually have the attack almost all the way to the right, and the more that you have to the right, the faster the attack. The more to the left, it slows down the attack. Then the release, I have it set about midway, and it's almost kind of pumping the background vocals. It's barely pumping it, but it is almost. But they're so compressed and so squished that there's really no time for them to breathe. And then that's exactly what I wanted. So now the lead vocals, you know, are the star of the show. And then I just have this limiter here just to kind of knock out those peaks every once in a while. I mean, I think it's like it's barely doing anything, but at those certain times when it does peak, it's probably taking out like 3 to 4 dBs maybe. That's just to keep them in check. Then I added the delay to the background vocals. It's on a separate channel here. It's being sent to this auxiliary channel, and it's being run in parallel. And I have it set to a quarter note, and then I delayed the right side of the quarter note by 15 milliseconds just to make them a little bit wider. Then I have this EQ. It's a gradual slope taking out around 200 hertz. Don't want those delays to take up too much in the bottom region. Oops, wrong one. And then again, another compressor. This thing is compressing those delays pretty hard. It's the same principle as the background vocals. I don't want these things poking their head out because I want to place them very specifically in the mix, and I want them to be behind all the action, all the good stuff that's going on. And then I added this reverb. It's about 8%. It's not really doing much, just to give a little bit more of a room texture to the delays, and then that sort of sits them even back behind. So there's almost 3 layers. You got like the lead vocals, which are sitting in front. Then you got the harmonies, which are sitting behind those, and then you have like the delays and the reverbs on the harmonies, which are sitting behind the harmonies. So if you can kind of picture it, it's like three different layers of positioning in the mix. So yeah, that was it for what I did for the effects and the processing. So what I'll do is I'll solo the harmonies again, and I'll play them, and this time I'll turn the delays on and off so you can kind of hear the difference of what it sounds like, and then I'll play them again with the track.
I know a place above, I wanna take you up so you can taste the new air. Hey, don't be scared, your heart.
So yeah, so let me bring the track back in, and now you can really get the picture of what I was trying to do when everything's on. Let's check it out.
I know a place above, I wanna take you up so you can taste the new air. So take my hand, don't be scared, give me your heart, I'll take.
So yeah, so that was it. So hopefully you're able to learn something from this, and again, go over to the site modernmixing.com. I wrote a whole article on this, so there's some more stuff in there that I didn't really include in this video, not by choice, but mostly because I forgot. So anyways, until next time.